Hello, this is Astro Design and I'm Lily, your guide. In today's video, I'm going to reveal to you the secrets of the numbers of the 2025 year. So our next year is comprised of three main numbers, the number 2, 5, and 9. The number 2 is ruled by Moon, and we have it twice next year. The number 5 is Mercury, and overall, the ruling planet of the year is number 9, which is the energy of Mars. So this year frequency is going to surround completion issues and situation. It's like a cycle coming to its end to make way to something new and fresh the year next. But as a year of endings, for most who fear for their stability, it will be a reality shake and shock. Let's see deeper into the forces at play. Whenever in a date we have the same energy repeating itself, it will be harder to achieve balance with it, and its more negative sides can prevail. As always in life, we have duality, so any number, planet, or energy have beneficial outlets and characteristics, as well as destructive and challenging ones. Let's begin with the number 2, which is represented by the Moon, which is a very feminine, emotional, dependable, easy, impressionable energy. So Moon can be under pressure here and influence of Mercury and Mars. Too much of Moon can create in 2025 very sensitive emotional situations. It can be manifested through emotional hardships, situations that will arouse emotional traumas worldwide, and acting out in a not rational way, but through emotional triggers. We can struggle to be happy and content because of those negative emotions on the universal arena. Also, number 2 is highly sensitive to energies on a psych and spiritual level. So this year, as the previous years, starting from 2020, where Moon is ruling the backstage frequencies, doubled, is a boost to spiritual awakening and practice. But many come to that, especially from 2020, through emotional hardship. Don't you agree? Moon and number 2 are very indecisive and love to give away responsibilities to others, even the responsibility of their own lives, which is the main downside and huge negative trait of number 2. Moon loves to be with others. Others that are much more strong-willed than it, more stable than is nature, and more decisive. Thus, Moon and the number 2 is prone to dependability, which is going to be shattered in 2025. Just imagine what it will bring forth when many people, simple employees, who are fixated and dependable on their jobs, going to lose it in 2025. How will it affect their emotions? How it will affect their reactions? You know, emotions are the most powerful fuel for motivation and action, much more than Mars. But Mars is also in the picture. The heightened emotional sensitivity and instability of this Moon energy can be under huge influence of the year's ruler, the planet Mars, which is the planet of aggression, war, drive, passion, courage, decisiveness, accidents, quick action and action orientation, act now, think later vibe, sharp objects, sexual drive, and even our blood are represented by Mars. Now, in a world where we have so many triggers to violence, so many people who are dependable on government structures and their routine, what do you think this dependability will bring? Mars is a very quick and straightforward energy that loves to cut and end everything that isn't aligned properly. For the sake of Mars, I can state that it's the most charitable energy. It's the most protection-oriented and service-oriented. Yes, you heard me right. Mars is like a very good soldier that wants to get clear guidelines and to know what are his moves, what he allowed to do or not, and he wants results. So in your life, if you have something that either broken, don't work beneficially, in stagnation or don't achieve any beneficial purpose, Mars will cut this abruptly and sometimes or even most of the times, it will do it painfully and abruptly from our lives. Of course, Mars will also show us what we have to cut from our life habits in order to be in a better shape. It will magnify as a magnifying glass to show through more pain, more body symptoms, what we have been ignoring. Mars will highlight every aspect of our life that is not functioning correctly or to some beneficial way to us and to others. As I said, Mars have a very strong protection and even territorial energy. In the negative side, it can create more war and violence worldwide. Mars is also very fast-moving and engineer-oriented, and thus in some way represents AI and technological advancements that we will for sure be witnessing in 2025. Now, combination of Mars and Moon can be very aggressive, emotionally explosive. Even every small act or word can get out of proportions and like a snowball destruct everything in its path. Later in the video, I will give you some info about best and worst times in 2025 and how to get them through in one piece. Let us not forget about number 5, which is Mercury. That represents our thoughts, communication, perspective, how we comprehend stuff, our learning abilities, our curiosity, mental power, transportation, and much more. Mercury is also under Mars's influence, and thus we need to be very, very careful of our communication. It can bring many advancement in movement and transportation, a lot of change in these fields, and a very different, unusual way of moving through places, maybe even by car in the air. But it will bring also many changes in tourism and borders. And while Mars is a muscle power, Mercury is mental power. And in astrology, they are enemies. especially when people first say and then think. It can create multiple communication problems. And because the year is ruled by Mars, it can disconnect us from the people that our communication is not good anyway, or had problems from before. Mercury is also siblings, so it can move away and have conflicts between siblings as well. Also, Mercury is younger children. And while Mars is not such a favorable energy for Mercury, it can bring a lot of aggressive behavior to teenagers that they are not aware, immature, and don't know how or where to put all this build-up emotional negative energy inside them and how to use it wisely. So beware of places with immature. Also, Mercury can give us a great opportunities to learn new skills, and it's even preferable the upcoming year. So what are the more problematic timelines that we need to watch out from? It's important to look at it from the energies on the numbers and their planetary rulers. Moon, Mercury, and Mars, and their interaction with other planets will predict what timeline will be more challenging. Remember that because the yearly energy is number 9, any months in 2025 will have the backstage frequency of their own number. And the influence will be according to planetary placements and relationship of Mars to the specific month's energy. For example, March is number 3, so it's ruled by Jupiter, that, by the way, is a friend to Mars. But from the middle of March, we have retrograde Mercury, we have lunar eclipse, and Venus retrograde, so it won't be great. So during this year, as I said, it will be important to look at the transits of the planets that rule the numbers of the year. So if we are taking moon, of course, lunar and solar eclipses are very important, much so lunar eclipses. And this year we have 2 lunar eclipses, which are total lunar eclipses. And it's going to happen on the 14th of March in the sign of Virgo, which will be a good time to check our habits and routines, our health, and cut off what is not beneficial. We all should do this check before Mars will do this check for us, because when something is done from the outside, it is done forcefully without our control or will, and it's much more painful. So, as I said, this lunar eclipse is also coincide with retrograde Mercury, which is not a good omen at all from middle March till mid-April. The next lunar eclipse is going to occur on the 7th of September in Pisces, and it will be a good time for wound healing, for charitable deeds, and healing from within, and spirituality, of course, and releasing. It is also a great time to accept and release and through it to heal. So Mercury this year is very, very important, and all the retrograde periods of Mercury, unfortunately, can be much harder this year and more prone to damages, body damages, accidents, and many other misfortunes. So pay attention to the dates that I'm showing you. And Mars's movement, of course, through his years that he rules. So in January, although Mars is retrograde, but January can be a good month because it's ruled by number 1, which is Sun. That is a very good friend of Mars. And because the retrograde Mars, it makes him weaker, so he's not as aggressive as usual, not quick, not drives himself to action without thinking. So it actually can be good. And for some people, it's even a very good period to start something new in their life. Now, the worst time this year is from first of all, from mid-March until mid-May, 2 months. And then from approximately the beginning of July until middle of August. And although August is ruled by Saturn, number 8, which is enemy to Mars, part of the August month can be good if you prepare and plan for what you want to achieve quite carefully, but prepare that many plans can go wrong and there will be frustration, especially due the themes of rules and governments. September can be a dangerous time because it highlights Mars, number 9, month number 9, year number 9, and moon energies, especially because of the moon eclipse, lunar eclipse. So it can be a very irritable, touchy months, violent, aggressive, and many things are going to change and come to an end this month, which can create a lot of chaos in people and oppositions. November, we have retrograde Mercury once again. But if you don't insist on doing something new and don't go on vacations and move too much, it should be a good time to be with family and loved ones. So a few tips how to manage this year for better outcomes. First, learn about your inner resources and start to rely on them. Second, slow yourselves down. Think and plan before you act or communicate. Avoid places with immature energies or places that have some kind of danger element in them, like hiking or other danger sport, fighting. All the adrenaline rush activities should be avoided in the upcoming year. 4, learn new skills that interest you without expecting them to be profitable. 5, be charitable, but discern to whom you give and what to avoid dependability and misuse. Do you have other suggestions in mind? Please leave a comment about it. If I won't see you until the next year, for all of you who are celebrating, be careful because Mars is still in the opposition to Pluto, which is very, very aggressive and violent energy. And I wish you to take care of yourself, because yourself is myself and all the self in the world. Happy New Year. Take care.